Today in Breaking Bitcoin, margin trading on BitMEX is leading to a dramatic uptick in divorces and foreclosures. ENJIN Coin reaches for the sky, and the European Union continues to push in their journey toward a digital euro. Meanwhile, 8 Bitcoin just flash crashed a Binance market, and we're joined in a few minutes by junior analyst MidwestAttempts. Stay tuned.
Hey, I'm Cap.
I'm Carlos.
And we're with Particle.io, and this is Breaking Bitcoin.
I just love it every single day. I love that. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for joining us for another exciting episode of Breaking Bitcoin, recorded live here in the studio. Today is Thursday, December the 5th, 2019, foul year of our Lord. Hopefully you guys are doing absolutely fantastic wherever you happen to be tuning in from, whether you're watching us from across YouTube, Twitch, DLive, Facebook Live, or on Roku with the Investor News Channel app. If you would like to support what we are doing here, make sure to subscribe if you're watching us on YouTube. If you're over there on Twitch or DLive, give us a follow and share the link to the video around to your friends, your family, even people you don't like. We're going to have a fantastic show for you guys today. We're going to cover so much, of course, very exciting activity in the Bitcoin market today, which we're going to jump into in just a minute. Before we begin, I want to thank this month's crypto comment giveaway sponsor, Spectre Security Coin. Make sure to go check them out at spectresecurity.io. Fantastic team, fantastic guys. Love that project. If you guys, actually, that's all I got. Nope, that's it. All right, let's go do what we normally do. Let's jump into the live scene, give away some crypto, and hop into this price action, guys. We're going to start off with analysis, news, and then questions and answers. This is close, but what we want is this, the random comment picker. Loading comments. Yesterday's video was the Bitcoin gap was filled, Jericho candle aftermath, Dash exit scam, Lightning Network, live trading, of course. Let's randomly pick a winner from yesterday's video. David Rice, gap got filled, learn and earn. Thank you so much, David Rice. Make sure to get a hold of me on the Discord, and I will gladly tip you some crypto. And now, into the live scene. Boom! How do you guys like it? Hopefully you guys really, really like what I've done with the place. Spruced it up just a little bit, made things a little bit more easy to see and manageable. Yes, down at the bottom you do see the social index, the fear and greed index from ScalpX Index. Shout out to them. And then over on the right, the cryptometer, longs and sells, as well as market value. So hopefully you guys find that information helpful. I've gotten a lot of requests to add more relevant information to the day trading as we continue on. Sometimes we talk about other things. With that being said, over in today's analysis, I want to thank, of course, Kryptonia is running dangerously low on lemons. We'll get in there and talk, my friend, because I already added lemons to the chest. I want to give a huge thank you to the super chats coming in. Thank you so much, Mr. Eli Back, the man, the myth, the legend, the shitcoin king, if I dare, and of course, ENJIN Coin, partners with Microsoft, and we'll be announcing more partnerships in the coming weeks. Regardless of all the hype, please take a look. I will be glad to. His average entry was 1,075 sats. Congratulations, my friend. You are always getting in. Let's see here. And Wally, $5. Thank you so much, my good friend. He says, please add Neo to the list. Both dollar and Bitcoin. Learn, earn, and don't get burned, of course. Shout out to you and Gunbot University. Thank you guys. Thank you guys so much for the contributions. We will be covering ENJIN, and we will do that Neo, BTC, and USD analysis in the Q&A section. Bear with us, guys. All right, getting into today's action. We've got a pretty interesting day in the market. Now, overall, wrap up to just give an introduction. Still overall in this market, as I talked about going back to Monday, long-term projections still point us down toward the bowels of El Diablo. I am thoroughly, at this point, although it is subject to change, of course, I am thoroughly unconvinced that we have bottomed, that this is going to be the local bottom of BTC. There are some, I've seen some analysis. I've talked to some individuals where those conditions where we have reached a local bottom seem cogent, but the main thing that points me down, monthly analysis, macro timeframes, and overall looking at the signals that we've gotten. We've covered this at length in this week through this video, and I want to couch all that within the reality that overall I am still hedged, and I do see us dipping further. I've talked about those numbers before. I've talked about those projections before. So for the long-term swings, for the long-term trades, again, I still firmly on the downside. But that is not to say that the volatility over the last few days has been absolutely incredible. Divorce rates skyrocketing, but also the upticks in purchases of Lambos for those on the right side of the market. And I just want to give this kind of initial message before we really get into today's technical analysis. Because often, here's the thing, guys. Although our technical analysis is quite good and is a huge result of why we are profitable, more so than that, and I'm just telling you from the mouth of somebody who does this and has done this for a long time as a full-time job, it is risk management, patience, and discipline, and your mastery of your ego that allows you to be consistently and long-term profitable in this market. So we've obviously seen some very exciting volatility over the last few days, and I just want to say this. For those of you who have walked away from this volatility with a large P&L, fantastic. My hat is off to you. Don't stop doing what you're doing. For those of you who have suffered small losses, that's okay. Your setup was incorrect, your trade was invalidated, and you took a loss. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. It does not speak to your capacity or your ability as a trader or your long-term profitability, especially if your strategy revolves more around trend following, and whipsaws in the market often leave you shaking your head. This is absolutely fine. This is absolutely natural. You don't necessarily need to change anything about your strategy. You need to look at the statistics of your trading journal over a long period, over a data set, to actually compile relevant information as to whether or not your strategy is wrong. But all of this should have become clear to you in your backtesting phase. However, if you cheaped out on your backtesting phase and didn't do it properly, and you are now live trading your capital, then you want to pay attention to the inconsistencies, to the losses that you may be incurring currently, because those, if you cheaped out on your backtest, you didn't do it very extensively. If you kind of whipped something together and just hopped into the market in a mad dash to begin making money really quickly, the inconsistencies, the errors that you made, the logical errors that you made when setting up your system will be revealed in your backtesting. So it's very, very important that you pay attention to that. Thirdly, if you have suffered some large losses, if you've gotten liquidated in this market, if you have incurred pretty substantial losses, then you are doing something wrong. You're not position sizing right. You need to take a firm step back, because your ego and your lack of discipline is hurting your long-term profitability, is hurting your chances of being successful in this area. And I know that many of the viewers of this show are not going to fall into this category because of what we do stress. But for those who are falling into that category, unfortunately, you guys need to take a serious step back, rethink your trading strategy, rethink your edge, and reapproach the market with fresh eyes after you've cooled off, because what you are doing is something that's wrong. You're position sizing incorrectly. You're taking on far too much risk. You're generally seeing large movements in the market. You're generally flip-flopping, and you need to take a big cautious step back from doing that, because those are the mistakes that you cannot afford to make if you want to make it in this game. All right. Again, we're going to be joined by junior analyst MidwestAttempts, Mr. Jason, here very shortly, just waiting for him to get in. Otherwise, let's get in. And he's here. And he's here. Good to see you, man.
How are you?
I'm good, man. Come on in.
Where am I?
What
am I supposed to do with my head? I don't even know where I'm supposed to look.
I don't even know where I'm supposed to look. Camera's right there, my friend.
How's everyone doing out there? How's everyone doing in the ByBit brawl? They don't answer, do they?
They don't talk back. They don't talk back. I know how you're doing. Hey, grab a seat. Grab a seat, man.
Doing all right today. I'll sit backwards so the kid knows I'm cool.
You might be out of focus back there. Let's see. We can pull you up on the monitor there pretty closely. Actually, you're doing really well. You're first place in the ByBit brawl.
So far, that's one of the things that I was actually going to talk about to the people that are actually in it with us, especially when you look at the numbers from the other people. That are posting ridiculous numbers. I mean, it's ridiculous what some of these people are doing.
Might want to talk a little louder.
But at the same time, it's because like, if you're doing it just to get a big number to win the competition, that's one thing. But there's another thing to just be above zero at the end of it. I mean, because if you're really thinking about it, okay, this is a little 2-week competition, but the real competition should be at the end of the year. Do you have more money than you did at the beginning of it? Which this competition kind of takes that away a little bit, because everyone's just gunning for that top prize and stuff like that. But at the same time, just treat it as if you were trading your regular strategy, because if you're going to go away from that, I promise you're going to be losing money. you'll see that some of these people are putting in way too much money. Not even that it's way too much, just I assume the mentality is that they are putting more up so they can win more for that percentage. But at the same time, when you think about that, that percentage is all that matters. It doesn't really matter if you have 0.05 or 3 BTC. But I think a lot of the people out there that are just doing this for a fun game is fine, but at the same time, with the way PTP works and stuff like that, because I was not in the what I would say the qualifications of even being in the top of the team, let alone positive, about a year and a half ago. And one of my biggest problems was take profits. And you'll see that even through the competition, you'll see that I'll either go a little bit up or a little bit low. It won't be just a clean sweep of 15-20%. It's just little incremental wins, and then once you get a little bit positive, then you can start to relax a little bit and then just take each trade by itself, not look about what's going to be the next one. Because Justin just took some profit here, guys in the group know, and I was in a 30-minute short, hit take profit 1, and then moved stop loss to break even, and now I'm out of the trades, sitting at 40%, and I don't know which way the market's going to go. And I mean, do any of us?
That's
Except
correct.
me. I mean, it might be going up, it might be going down. Buy and sell. That's my advice to both of you. Just do it.
Stop it.
It's just do it at the right time.
You're gonna want to pull up here. They can't hear you very well. You're talking too softly.
Oh God, I gotta yell at them.
You gotta yell at them.
Did they? They better have heard some of it.
I think they heard most of that.
Does anyone have any kind of questions out there?
Oh man. Mr. Ether says, won't be long. I'll take his place.
Challenge accepted.
But, overall, I'm really impressed, man. You've been doing really, really good. I mean, obviously at the top of the competition, doing very good, and your words are well received. And I think that dovetails nicely with what I was just saying. For people who are, I think the main point you said there is that if at the end of the competition or if at the end of any trading period, you're break even, you're doing better than the majority of traders out there. Because unfortunately, most traders are actively losing money. And you should look at any kind of short period in time, not as an opportunity to show off or not as an opportunity to get rich, but just as an opportunity to practice the same strategy that you've been doing consistently over and over and over again. And the results show. The results show at the end P&L.
Absolutely. And those of you who are not already in the group, you're probably going to be like me at first, a little skeptical of what Justin is kind of saying, because he kind of just cuts to the point of everything, and it's kind of seems too good to be true. One of the most genuine people I've ever met. I actually have the privilege of living close, so we actually got to meet each other.
Don't tell him that. Don't tell him I'm a nice person.
But
they'll send more emails.
I literally am one of you guys out there that was just watching one day, came across Justin, liked what he was saying, wanted a little bit more, and I tried the premium trial, actually, which cost me nothing, just to get a week in to see, and ended up loving the group. For a lot of you guys that are out there that do not have actual friends that are not just friends, but friends that trade.
For people who are Bitcoin traders and have no friends.
Big ass losers out there, there is hope. But no, seriously, the group is great. It's not a scheme to try to get people to join to take your money. To be honest with you, if you join the group within the week trial, if you don't, just following some of the premium analysts trades, if you don't make probably what it costs a month in the trial, then don't join. That's probably what I would say, because I guarantee you, if you're just following a few of them, you're probably going to make some money. But that's up to you to risk appropriately. At the same time, we give good signals. I mean,
got a nice little 15-minute long signal. Good stuff. Oh, that's something. Yeah, I did want to talk about that. So I'm gonna. So, in the as we start moving stuff onto the website, by the way, for the Online Learning Academy, I am revisiting a lot of the material and making additions to it, stuff that we've learned together as a group over the last year. And so I'm going to be putting out a lot of videos in the course material over the next, I'm going to say 2 to 3 months, and really starting in swing throughout this December.
he actually has the mug.
The mug is in there. That's ancient. That's like from the 70s. But I'm really looking forward to that. So if you guys are members, if you guys have questions about strategies, you guys have made big contribution, honestly, to the way we've grown as a group. Make sure to put those in the relevant channels, in the Q&A channels. You guys can submit those to support@krakencryptocurrency.com because I'm interested in covering the topics that are going to help you guys out. So obviously, one big request has been going over minks, time transformation, things like that, looking at lower time frame strategies. And we have a lot of them. A lot of that is already covered in the educational material, but I would like to revisit it specifically and go over, kind of re-go over, especially concepts like risk management. And then that's going to be really, really helpful.
Behind you. Rob Taylor, that's exactly what I'm saying. 100x long right now.
Shoot.
No, he said short.
Oh,
Then it's got to be long.
Then it's got to be long.
Yeah.
Justin Stalker. We're all groupies here. Stop it. Let's see here. How long did it take Midwest to become a profitable trader?
How long did it take? I probably did it the same way you guys are all doing it out there. My biggest problem was I was always hit rate wise pretty good, but I was very frustrated in that when I would lose way bigger than I was winning. So 10 good trades, one bad one, and I'm losing money. And that was my biggest issue. And then addressing take profits. Quadrigo has saved my life, to be honest with you, because it takes the thinking out of it for me. Just 1 ATR, 2 ATR, 3 ATR. If it hits it, move stop loss. You know it's a successful trade. Don't mess with it. Wait for the next trade. Don't add more money to it because you think it's going to pump. Don't add to your short because unless you get another signal, that's a different story. But it took me about a year and a half to get more than a 3-month streak of profit. And now with the way I'm doing things now, I've drastically changed the way I trade just because risk management, everything that's within the PTP program, the biggest thing for me was risk management. I was not applying the right amount as well as not taking profit at times. So now I look at it as just a system of hit 1 ATR and then hope to hit the second ones. If not, you'll get stopped out. But it took a while. It's very frustrating. Of course, you guys all know that. You're here. That's why you're here. It can be extremely frustrating. But I won't say that I'm an amazing trader right now. I would say I'm still just an intermediate trader, but I want to be able to do this for the rest of my life, as a lot of people preach online, not like Justin does. He actually wants to teach people how to do this realistically instead of like, let's make $100,000 tomorrow. Like that's bullshit.
We're not against making $100,000 tomorrow.
Like definitely not against it, but let's be realistic. That's not what we're shooting. If you're shooting for that, you're probably shooting for the wrong thing. Just shoot to be break even at first.
Good to have you, man.
It's great to be here. Takes a drive here.
It's a long drive.
You will never find him.
Let's see here. Wally says, my secret is I enter trades based on CC's trades. And then I let my Gunbot University bot take care of exiting. I sleep and beat Saber the rest. I don't know if that's a typo.
Yeah, I don't know what Beat Saber
he beat Sabers the rest.
I hope he makes noises too.
But thank you so much, my friend. Yeah, and that's why that's the thing, man. Like I go over that all the time. And this is why I talk about the importance of community, but maybe it's probably a deeper topic than that. I mean, the reality is that
it's not sexy.
Well, yeah, real trading begins and ends with risk management. You can have the best technical system, you can have the best technical setup, you can have the best strategy in the world. But if you're not, just like you said, 10 good trades, high hit rate, but not making money consistently. And what was the problem? Because you have 10 good trades, they're average or meager winners due to position sizing. And then that one losing trade wipes out all your winners plus extra and puts you down a negative P&L. And that's what we see with a lot of individuals. That's why we start with risk management. Everything is risk management.
And then, of course, I used to be that guy that had 15 million NPXS. That's what I did. Like, I used to hodl the low sats. I'm like, it'll come back. Thank God I got rid of it when I first joined the premium group. 18 sats when I got rid of it because I'm like, it can't go any lower. Look at it now. You
haven't seen Beat Saber? No, man, I haven't seen Beat Saber, bro.
Oh, I have not seen Beat Saber. I believe that's probably rated X.
Says, let's see here. VR and Beat Saber is a great workout and tons of fun. Yeah, I
kind of like a shake weight, huh?
Crypto Jack swings meat sabers around all the time. Okay. We are delving into the realm of the unfathomable here. All right. So anyways, let's take a gander, man. Take a gander. Let's see. Let's start with the normal thing.
See what's over here.
Yeah.
It's disgusting.
It's disgusting. Now on the let's go over to the daily. All right. So looking for trend following long signals on the daily time frame. Do we have any of that? No, we do not. Again, what is our let us all just bow our heads and say a word of thank you to our Lord and Savior Wadatar explosion. It's kept us out of trending long signals throughout the majority of this because we talked about the monthly sell signal that points us down to 4.9K. Those things take time to work out. They take time. They take days. They take weeks. They don't take minutes. They don't take intraday volatility. Those things take a lot of time to work out. We closed below the daily baseline yesterday. We are peeking our head above it. We have had some decent intraday volatility on today's candle close. Obviously, intraday traders have been having a ball over the last few days because the intraday volatility has been high. Often, again, that is how do I point this out? It's generally the very struggled, weary gasps. And people can say market manipulation. That's not really what it is. Market manipulation is often a misguided word that people use when they're on the wrong side of the market. But it is, as we've seen with Bitcoin, although it is quite liquid, it is illiquid to a certain degree compared to regular traditional markets when we talk about 24-hour trading volume. And it's often a warning signal that a very significant move is coming in. In my eyes, what I've seen is every opportunity for individuals to push shorts out of their position to increase liquidations. Obviously, we saw more short liquidations yesterday, 55 million short liquidations on the way up. Comparatively, we've only seen about 20 million long liquidations on this way back down. And then not too many liquidations on the way down. And I think what this means, this to me seems to point to the fact that traders are getting spooked out of the market. Open interest is falling fairly dramatically. This generally means that, again, individuals, if you look at it in the context of what's going on, it seems to me that traders are getting spooked out of the market, because when you see Bitcoin's price shoot all the way up, shoot all the way down, shoot all the way back up again, and then currently crash as it is right now, a lot of traders are going to do the wise thing and stay on the sidelines, whereas those who are more reckless are going to continue to pile in and pile in and pile in. Now, again, obviously, if your strategy is making you money in this market dynamic, then that's absolutely fine. Again, as I said at the beginning of the show, don't stop doing what you're doing. But if it's not, then sitting on the sidelines is not a terrible idea. But that's also exactly what happens generally before a very large move in the market. And if the monthly and the weekly have anything to say about it, that would point us to the downside. That has to be invalidated before we can start to talk about all the kind of bullish, hopeful dreams that we're hearing from individuals, such as 13K, 10K, 19K, lead up to the halvening, all of these things. As we talked about, let's go look, and we'll come back to the daily here in just a little second here. Okay, we've talked about this before as well. Let's go to the daily on the hash ribbons indicator. Hash ribbons indicator would still be pointing at minor capitulation. This has not changed. This is just kind of a nice playful example that I brought up. Not even playful, but it's a good. We don't have the luxury of these type of indicators with stocks. We don't have the luxury of these type of indicators with Forex. And do I think that if this is a new indicator to you, you should run out and sell the farm or bet the farm? No, I absolutely don't think you should. But it's just an interesting indicator that you can add to your chart to add a little bit of confluence to what your other technical analysis is already saying. If, Scrooge McDuck, good to see you, my friend. If your higher time frame analysis is already pointing you into a direction, and you can look at fundamental indicators that we have with cryptocurrency, with Bitcoin in particular here, obviously, and they're confirming that movement, then that's generally something that you want to pay attention to. So all I've done here is I've paired the hash ribbons indicator, which does look for minor capitulation. Obviously, we are still in a state of minor capitulation. This can take 2 weeks to a month to resolve. Every 2016 blocks, difficulty is adjusted, so it does take time for this to update. But and then the other thing that I've overlaid here is, as recommended by the creator of this indicator, the 10 and 20 simple moving averages on the daily, which, if you just go back to the beginning of time, is one of the simplest kind of trend following indications. But kind of the advice that was paired with this indicator is that once we come out of minor capitulation, you can reduce pretty much all the drawdown associated with the 9 historical signals this indicator is given if you wait for price action to turn bullish. In this case, either relying on your own technical analysis or something simple like a 10 and 20 period simple moving average, which have not crossed over yet. But again, you guys know how I feel about bull crosses and bear crosses. They're okay. They're mediocre at best. They're mediocre at best. Yes, what he said. Anyways, getting back to the daily. No clear signal yet on the daily, guys. We talked about the reversal baseline bounce coming up over here, and obviously there was a great intraday play off of that. Again, as we covered yesterday, was sold immediately into. We have had a nice little pump up today, but it is very, very inconclusive, very low volume. And overall, again, as I said, macro, it is looking like individuals are looking for any and all opportunities to get short. And I think people are ignoring these signals at their own peril. Again, macro hedged, that's where all my accounts sit. And that allows me the luxury of just taking trades. And that allows you the luxury of just taking trades. Remember that if you hold Bitcoin, you are 1x spot long. You're 1x spot long if you hold Bitcoin. If you are sitting in cash, then you have no exposure to Bitcoin. There are tax ramifications to this. For example, if you are holding Bitcoin as your primary investment and you are just holding it, remember you're 1x spot long. If you sell your Bitcoin, then you're going to be paying short-term capital gains tax, or you're going to be paying short-term tax on that instead of long-term capital gains tax if you've held it for less than a year. So moving in and out of Bitcoin to the dollar very rapidly, very often is going to have ramifications. Of course, as a trader, you plan for this thing in advance, but the luxury, the nice thing also about instead of selling into dollars, instead of just and instead opening up a counter-prevailing short, it does allow you to avoid that. It also allows you a lot more flexibility and I think strength and power with you managing your trades, because put yourself in any situation where you have sold Bitcoin, for example, due to fear of it going lower. Then when the time actually comes for you to buy it back lower, you often do not have the conviction to do such a thing. And then you end up waiting until the market has turned far too bullish to buy back in. Generally, you end up buying back at a higher price than what you sold at. This would be much less of an issue, in my opinion, psychologically, if instead of doing that, you simply hedge with futures. You just open up a short sell that is counter to whatever your primary spot position is for the same position size, no additional risk. And now you are making all of that additional Bitcoin on the way down, hedging your dollar loss. And so all you have to do now is close a position, which is far easier than opening up a new position.
Sure, you just answered that question.
Let me put that down. I need to be more, today is a little bit funner because we have a guest on the show. But I'm going to be, if I compile like all the questions and answers into one area of the show, I think I'll be a little bit more efficient. But yes, you can I recommend Crypto Caveman, go to the Discord and actually check out Trunker's Lair. He's another one of our junior analysts. He just did an excellent write-up on the entire concept of hedging. And I recommend you go read that. It is a fantastic read. He was able to distill what I constantly preach on the stream so often into just a great write-up. It's one of the best write-ups on hedging that I've seen in quite a while. And he goes over the multiple different ways that you can do it. You can do it with multiple accounts. You can do it with multiple contracts. You can do it with multiple accounts, multiple contracts, or you can even do it on the same account, a same contract, just by reducing or adding to your overall position size. You can increase and reduce your short risk exposure. So for example, if you short, let's say you have $10,000 worth of Bitcoin. If you short for $10,000, you're completely hedged. And if price goes down or price goes up, you don't make any money. You don't lose any money. You don't make any money. If price goes up, you lose BTC, not dollars. If price goes down, you make BTC, you don't make dollars. And then if you close that out at a lower price, you'll have additional BTC. You'll have the same amount of dollars. And then obviously if Bitcoin goes up, it would be just as if you were just sent extra Bitcoin. You're appreciating in value.
Stacking sats, baby.
Stacking sats. But if, God, I hate that term. But if on the other hand, let's say you have $10,000 of the BTC and you go short 5,000 contracts and price goes up, you are making dollars because you are long exposed. You're long exposed more than you are hedged short. So although on your trade, it'll look like you're losing money, overall, if you look at your entire portfolio balance, you'll actually be making money, half as much money as you would if you would have just been spot long with no hedge. Stack and hex. No, I don't like it. All right, so I answered that question. At the end, at the Q&A section, at the Q&A section, I want to do, obviously, the Neo request and the ENJIN request. We're going to be talking about ENJIN a little bit in the news section. So let's finish up the analysis and get into that because it is already 12:32. All right. So we've covered that on the daily. Let's get back over into what we've got going on. Obviously, still negative on the Renko chart. We do have, we just got a fresh intraday long signal from Minx. Let's look at how, and this is kind of one of the things I wanted to point out. If we take a look at, we can actually maximize this one on the chart. This is intraday 15-minute chart. We did get the either take profit or this is the kind of the get ready or the sell signal. It depends on however you do it. This is a reversal signal, but we do get it from time transformation on the 15-minute chart right here, right at the top of the recent pump. We get confirmation of the short signal right here, right around 7,400, and then we do get just where I took profit off my short that I opened up at the in that area. We got the take profit short signal here at 73.38, and then we also got the time transformation take profit signal pretty much right around the same price. 73.08 is where I actually think we ended up exiting, but right here around 72.98 on the chart. And then an intraday 15-minute long signal as we see coming in right now.
100x.
About 5x. Anyway, shout out to all the guys in the ByBit Brawl. They're doing a fantastic job. Looking over to Ethereum. Ethereum a little bit more choppy. Let's actually pull open Ethereum on the daily.
Timestamp it, Scott.
Let's go to FUSD. On Coinbase, kind of similar thing. Wadatar explosion, even more bearish over here on FUSD. I think that one of the better analyses that I saw this morning coming from the junior analysts and actually one of our senior analysts was an FZ19 short. I do like the setup. I do like the look of that. I'll be talking about that later on in the members lounge for the premium members. But yeah, Wadatar explosion at no point in time flipping us long, keeping us short. In fact, we are going to have a confirmed cross under. That's a continuation entry below the baseline. Wadatar explosion does not need to confirm that at this point in time. One thing that might be a mitigating factor is commodity channel index is not confirming that, but of course, please consult your own systems, your own strategies on that. But again, that's what this is going to be looking for: a daily continuation short potential on Ethereum, to confirmation short. So that's going to be about 1% risk instead of 2 or 3% as we would normally do. I feel like you're staring at the back of my head.
I never get to see it.
Oh, shoot. Poloniex allowed linked accounts, and then they left the United States. Jack says, ByBit is cool with it. If you check out some of the ByBit Brawl leaderboards, some users have dozens of sequentially numbered accounts.
They cheating.
Eric Cartman says, what about when a country like Argentina adopts Bitcoin and it moonshots, then ByBit or exchange pulls a BitConnect or a OneCoin and your BTC is now gone? Not your keys, not your coin. You take counterparty risk whenever you deposit funds to an exchange. That's why I prefer, as I've said many, many times, utilizing an exchange that gives you access to margin so you can keep the majority of your funds somewhere safe, like cold storage, where you do have the private keys to your coins. Again, not your keys, not your coins. And you can significantly reduce your counterparty risk. You can hedge your entire account balance by 1/3 by using something like 3x leverage. I've gone over this fairly extensively. But that's why you need to do your own research as well and select the exchanges that you want to trade on. For example, I get dozens of emails every single week from pop-up exchanges wanting me to run an ad for them or wanting me to talk favorably about them or wanting to, trade on their exchange, and I won't. I've selected the exchanges that I trade on very carefully. I've talked with the team that operates the exchanges that I trade on very extensively, and I'm very satisfied with where I've decided to trade. Okay. Other than that, we'll kind of check in on this, see how this 15-minute L signal plays out. I should probably, one thing that I kind of want to do too, and we can put this here. I'm going to put this here as well. It's actually right here that the short was signaled. And then maybe the buyback would be a yellow, something like this. Right-hand arrow. TPS right here. And we could go back further in time. I was actually really impressed with the lower time frame minks because it was able to catch this entire movement right here, this entire short right here, and then this movement right here. I think Jason was doing the hourly.
I did go off the hourly when I caught that wick. Yeah. Beautiful signal. Just right before it.
That's and that's a good question, because we were talking about this, and obviously the leaderboard reflects it. But you took the long from, what your average entry is on the original long?
On the original long, it was 72.15.50.
72.15.50. And what made you take that signal?
My setup had all engines firing. Water was going. On the lower time frames, I tend to use time transformation, and then Minx was also giving me a long signal. There was a little baseline pullback. I took it a little bit after the signal. I'm not sure if yours will reflect the exact same as mine.
Let's go
to your hourly and see. It's gotta be close. So go back a little bit. Nope, right there. Yep. See, where's your signal?
Well, if we want WADA confirmation, it would have been right here or right here. So either the candle previous or this candle right.
Yours looks a little different than mine. That would have been the candle that signaled for me, and I took the pullback. So then I got it at 15.50.
Yeah, so we can see Minx above the noise line right here. Actually, the Minx signal would have actually came on this candle when we first crossed above the baseline. And then we get WADA confirmation right here on this candle, and commodity channel index, we would have had to wait till this candle anyway. So you had, in order of relativity, you had a 2 confirmation signal right here, and then here we have a 3 confirmation signal, and then on this bar we have full confirmation. You have 1 small candle of drawdown, and then up. And then you actually had limit sell orders. Do you know what your exit was and your entry into the short was?
Well, the exit, I took... Because I was taking a 1 hour signal, I still put 50% at 1 ATR above it because I like to capture as much profit as I can. You're never going to know when those giant dildos are going to come in there.
So about 76 is where you took 50% profit.
Yep. And then I let the rest run. And as soon as I saw it running, I went and looked at the CME gap and then set my sell at 7,700 and then put a buy in from ByBit at 77.86.50.
77.86.50.
And it only went up to like 195.50.
That's pretty good. That's right at the top of that gap.
Yeah.
And this is what we talked about just several days ago.
And filled on that, and then Jack knows because he was waiting on that little bit of a retracement down there. He thought we were gonna shoot back up. Thank God he held out because he had all 3 take profits on the way down. So by the end of the day, we were right back to where we started, except I was 30% more up.
Yeah, I always find that amusing. And it's not all the time that we get this kind of volatility, but essentially if you would have looked at the chart at any time around here during this day and then just walked away and came back that evening, you'd have been like, nothing changed.
I believe someone in the group actually mentioned that they came home. They had a stop loss at 8,100 and they came home and it was exactly at the same spot. They didn't panic all day.
No panic.
Those damn CME gaps.
Scrooge says the number of people wrecked in the brawl is staggering. It is ridiculous, man. Especially like if you go and just look at the figures, like the totality, like of all the individuals trading, and like start going through other like groups. I mean, there are just dozens upon dozens of people down 100%, accounts completely liquidated. There are teams on there full of like just completely liquidated. And again, I mean, the reason, listen, here's the thing.
If you really think about it, it's not that strange because 99% of traders lose money. I mean, and this reflects it well.
Yeah, that is true.
And it probably is actually more of a percentage because people are trying for the moon on this so they can win, which is the silly thing and just helps the people holding the competition. But at the same time, I think it's a great challenge to challenge yourself to ignore the hype, ignore the emotions, just trade the way you're supposed to trade. And you'll see it in the results if you do that, if you just hold to your system.
That is true. Because I think that it's highly unlikely. I think it's highly unlikely that, people have just created play accounts and they're like, I'll throw half a Bitcoin on there.
I'll throw $500 and 100x long.
Yeah.
Who cares?
I mean, there are obviously going to be some people that do that. Like I have a sub account that for the ByBit Brawl. But you still, I think that it speaks a lot you can see the difference between degen gamblers, and you can see the difference between them, and you can see the difference between, you can see the difference between them, degen gamblers, and individuals who are consistently profitable traders, because the consistently profitable traders are going to have respectable returns or meager losses, right? That is what a consistently profitable trader does. They are consistent. They return roughly the same in just about any market condition. Sometimes more, sometimes less. Just depends on, where they're able to get filled and what the market brings their way. Saw a couple of people who were down 50% and they started with 1.5 to 2 Bitcoins. It's rough out there, man.
The more you gamble, the bigger you win.
Yeah.
I'll keep my money, thank you.
You do gotta talk louder.
Dude, what do you want me to fucking scream at the top of lungs?
Just need you to yell.
Okay!
Man. There you go. That's a good one.
Can you hear me, you selfish bastards?
I can't boost the mic. I can put gain on it, but then I'll be overpoweringly loud. I was gonna set the other mic. The other mic up, yeah. But I didn't want to deal with what's the word I'm looking for?
I have no idea.
Feedback.
Yeah, that's true.
Then I would have had to I would have had to do it a little bit differently.
Margin trading is gambling. Margin trading with leverage. But yeah, if you're putting your whole portfolio up, absolutely. That's the funny thing about that, Zulu, is when you think about that, a lot of people think that with margin, it's my portfolio is this size, but now my portfolio's times 10 or times 50. Yeah. That's a very ignorant way to look at it. I mean, you should be thinking about what you have in the bank, taking a percentage of that and just using the margin to only put a very small amount onto the exchange to use that to trade, rather than just Xing your whole account portfolio. And now all of a sudden I got a 10X portfolio. That's ridiculous. But unfortunately, a lot of people trade that way to the exchange's benefit and not their own.
Wendy would rather throw his money out of the window on the way to the casino than put it in a slot machine.
Well, yeah. I never trust...
I never liked slot machines.
I don't trust anything that's electronic that can be rigged.
Like voting machines? Dun, dun,
oh,
dun!
God! Way to bring up blockchain's good uses.
All right. Okay, I can bring it over.
Is it that bad?
Yeah, it probably is, bro. Gotta speak with that stage voice, man.
Hello! Oh, you listeners out there. F1. Oh.
I broke it.
I want to tell you something you might not know about me, Joe Rogan. Smoke rocks.
All right.
Is it just that easy?
It is just that easy.
Wasn't that gonna? Should I put it over here so it's no feedback?
This microphone is gonna get turned off. There we go. Cardioid.
You shut down the camera or something?
Oh, I pressed the button. I pressed the button. All right, let's try.
Is that on now? Is that any better?
Oh, it's not on yet. There we go. Let me know how the audio is, guys.
Is that any better?
That should be better.
Hello, Governor.
Did we name MidwestAttempts this chair yet?
Yeah,
no, not yet.
It's called the shitter.
It's called the 25X.
What's your first take profit on that one?
Let's see here.
Just letting it ride.
Depends on what Quadrigo says.
Can people answer if I sound better, please?
74.47.
To answer someone else's question, I didn't see who asked it. They asked when I started trading. I actually started trading in April of 2017. Great market to get into. But I also didn't know anything about leverage. I thought margin was literally having to borrow money and then pay it back if you lost it at that time. And I basically got caught up in a market that I didn't realize was just going down. And that actually taught me a ton of lessons really quick on how to trade. Because I could only long at the time because I was only using Binance, no margin, anything like that. So it taught me how to trade in the down market, but there was still that problem of when I'd have losers, I'd have big losers. And then with that, I needed something to add to my game because clearly I was missing something, and that's what made me start exploring the internet for people. Of course, came across Kirby and all them. Couldn't listen to them, frankly, because they sound like a bunch of morons. I don't care if they're good at trading. I can't live with someone that I can't stand. And gotten part of PTP, and then risk management folder, man, just buried my head in there because that was the biggest thing I was lacking, is just taking profit, letting good things ride, getting rid of bad trades. Because guess what? Whether you like it or not, or your ego does, you'll have bad trades. You got to get out of them. Just because you are going to have a red mark on your journal, don't care about that. The next trade's on the table unless you don't give the trade up. Yeah. But it took a while. I'd say the last 6 months have been the best trading I've ever done, but that's with the group. Because, like I said before, those people who don't have any friends or anything like that that are trading with them, it gets lonely by yourself. And you can get in your own head. Your emotions can get you to stop trading the way that you're supposed to or sticking to your system, stuff like that. And that's where I think the premium member group is probably the best part of the group, just because you get a little bit of psychiatry in there. Because everyone has bad trades, man. And if you got to swallow them yourself without talking about it, it can get pretty shitty, to be honest with you. But, I mean, completely profitable trader. The last 6 months have been really good to me. But you can have down months too. So I'm here for the long haul on that.
I think that's the biggest thing that I deal with in mentoring, like, new members to the group, is that, you know, everything is psychology. This is why that's what we focus on. But everything, I think the majority of people, just like you said, they don't want to put. I think new members come into the group and they're like, hey, welcome to the group. We log our trades here. Everybody does. Here you go. Here's your journal. And they're like, whoa, man, I've never logged a trade. I don't want to actually see what my hit rate is.
My style, it's kind of not, I don't need to record it.
I just get in, I just get out. And we're like, no, we're going to need some statistics, man. So we actually know what to improve with your trading. And I think once people start logging their trades and they have their active trades, and then they go to move they see if they see red, they don't want to move that into their trading journal because they don't want to look at that red. And I think obviously working with you, one of the things that changed your trading around the most was not only take profit at TP1,
take profit at all,
move the stop loss to break even. You did not want to take profit. You just wanted to let trades run.
No, this is going to the moon.
And the second one was, it's okay. Like, you can throw 5, 10, 15, 30 losing trades into that journal as long as you cut the trade off when you get the early exit signal. When you cut it off early, you can, if you're going to have a losing trade, you want to have a small loss, not hold that losing trade because you want it to reverse, put the prayer hands together. You want the trade to reverse, and then it turns into a large loss, and now your account balance is suffering.
And the way I look at it is, the way it felt for me is when I started recording them, like you don't really think like, okay, yes, I'm just recording them. You don't want to take a loss, stuff like that. But once you start to get the journal and you start to see how it reflects, you start seeing, to me, it's very analogous to looking in a mirror. You start seeing things that you're like, okay, every single time I do this, I have a big loss. Or you start seeing the things you're doing right. And then all of a sudden you're like, okay, I can change these easily just because they show. If you don't record anything that you're doing, you'll never know what you're doing wrong.
We got a lot to talk about in the news segment. European Central Bank gearing up to launch their own CBDC. Bitcoin breaks records, 8.9 billion processed in an hour. We're going to talk about the BTC Flash Crash. And there's not a whole lot to talk about with ENJIN Coin. Obviously, ENJIN Coin, Microsoft officially announced the partnership with ENJIN Coin. ENJIN Coin doing a pretty large movement to the upside. We can go take a look at those actually now before we get into the news segment. We got a few minutes here before the break. So let's go take a look at ENJIN Coin, ENJBTC.
I will never say to buy news, but I bought news yesterday. I bought ENJIN yesterday, just based on that news.
Yeah, Alex. Alex is actually the one that shared it with the group. He was like, "Hey, here's the announcement, guys." And then he posted that. I should play it. He posted that meme. That bye. But yeah, ENJIN's doing good, man. And the reality is this, man. The reality is this. ENJIN up, let's see, 77% from the lows 3 days ago. Well, not even from the lows 3 days ago. Let's see. Let's go actually to the lows. Let's go at its real performance. Up about 100%. And you guys know the answer you're always going to get. By the way, Eli,
I'm going to do it live. I'm going to do it. I'm going to take 50% profit now.
Yeah. You guys know the answer that you're always going to get at Kraken Cryptocurrency every time I see one of these charts, right? You're up 100%, you're up 70%, you're up 50% if you were able to get in before the large move into the upside. And you guys can see here, this movement right here is kind of the initial pump for insiders buying up the coins before the announcement actually drops. That was a 50% movement. And then the actual movement as retail piles in. Massive volume spike. Again, you don't know, neither do I, whether this thing is going to go up another 1,000%, up another 500%, up another 60%.
Boom.
Good man.
50%. It's up 15.
But I will tell you this. I cannot sign off on buying massive green red candles, and I never will. My recommendation, as it always is, the same thing, and I think I've said this to Eli like many times, but you always bring me the best looking charts with the best possible entries. What did you say your average entry is? Like 1079? 1079? Still a great entry, man. You got to take 50% profit, move your stop loss to break even, man.
Ooh, he beat me by a little bit.
Thank you, Dark Rico. I appreciate that, man. Obviously, we put a lot of work into the trading journal, and I hope you guys appreciate it.
Shout out to Furry.
Let's see here. Trying to think. Wally, thank you for the $5. Here's the thing, man. I think, and we talked about this a little bit last night. When I say we talked about it, I responded to your messages. We didn't actually have a conversation. For right now, I disagree with you. While it is true that Dash did not exit scam, what is true from my perspective is that the Dash core group, the DCG, attempted to scrub information or tried to disavow their affiliation with Moo publicly on Twitter. They actively changed their website, and we went back and looked in the Wayback Machine and the web archives and saw that he was listed as their senior advisor. So that's what I don't like. The entire response from their community is been overwhelmingly not very confidence inspiring in my opinion. And so I stand by what I said yesterday until I see very, very hard evidence to the contrary.
It's on you, Dash.
Because all I've seen right now is Dash say things. I have not seen any evidence that what they say is actually true. What I have seen evidence of is that, in my opinion, they have not handled this very well. They have not handled the situation very well. And as soon as I see anybody, any group, any company, any team lie or try to twist the truth around to make themselves look better, I immediately am going to turn up the dial on them. But as with all things, I am absolutely willing to be proven wrong, but I just need to see the evidence that I am actually wrong. So until then, I stand by what I say. I stand by what I say all the time. And if I was wrong, then I'm just going to blame my news team.
It's on you, Jack.
Is there staking on Ethereum after the fork? If it is the Ethereum 2.0 upgrade, then yes, it should be the switch to proof of stake. All right, and Neo BTC. So this white line right here is my entry into Neo BTC. I had a limit order set from right around here. So this is not a traditional trade that I'll typically make, but it is a reversal trade. So we're going to give this a few days. I've got my stop loss posted on this. I've got my take profit posted on this. Let's see right here, if I would have been able to, since I don't trade on Bitfinex, and never will, but it could have gotten a decent short entry from this position, which I would have taken profit on right here on this candle with the crossover. But that's my personal take on Neo. Insofar as where do we go from here?
Where do we go from here?
Well, the first thing I'll default to is PTP strategy. So if you're looking for long trending confirmation, we don't have any of that yet. We're below the baseline. Water tower explosion is also giving a powerful sell signal. Commodity channel index is pointing us to the downside. So falls in the basket of the 10 or 20 trades a year I take that are reversal or fundamental based. Let's see here.
How is everything, hon?
It's good, thank you.
Dad and I are getting ready to leave to go to the store.
Okay.
Anything you need?
Do some analysis on Hexcoin? No, thank you. I got nothing.
Pumpamentals already.
The pumpamentals already. Other than that, Wally, I don't really have anything fresh to say on Neo. There's really nothing. There's not a lot here from a from a technical analysis perspective. You're gonna have to do that a little bit more forcefully.
I always do things forcefully.
You're gonna have to do it a little bit more forcefully than that, or it's gonna swing open. Just give it a little kick. There we go. That's the click we were looking for.
Locker in, baby.
That is volume profile visible range, VPVR, on the right-hand side, with a few things from the kitchen sink thrown in as well. What would concern me is if we get a daily close below 1131, because, again, we can see the inefficiency in the market. We went from a period of consolidation, high volume node, to a period of consolidation, high volume node, to a period of consolidation, high volume node. And you can see how we chewed right through this low volume node, this gap in the market. And again, here we are in a period of efficiency. We are right at the point of control in a period of consolidation, a previous level of demand. But getting below here, we once again fall into a period, into an area of low volume node. Fear, despair, agony, and defeat. So although we can see, long shakeout wicks into low volume nodes before we retreat back into a high volume node and then reverse in the opposite direction, I don't like those setups on alt to BTC trades. I do not like those setups on alt to BTC trades. With alt BTC trades, I use lower risk than the liquid assets that I typically prefer to trade. And I just don't feel like the risk to reward is there to pick tops and bottoms on altcoins for the most part. You guys are silly, man. You guys are silly. Now, if we look over at its actual dollar pairing, which I think is generally more relevant when we look at altcoins, we'll take VPVR for a second. Let's see here. Relatively over the last week or so, again, here's the thing. if you look at almost all of the major alt dollar pairs, and this is what's interesting about the market. It's not, well, it is interesting, but it's only interesting because I think a lot of people don't notice it. I mean, the dollar pairs are tracking the king. If you look at NEO USD and you look at its fluctuations right now, and you put up Ethereum USD, or you put up BTC USD, or you put up XRP USD, or you put up EOS USD, or Litecoin USD, they all look the same because the altcoin dollar market is being driven by Bitcoin right now, which is often why you need to ask yourself, you need to look at the math and ask yourself, does it make sense to long or short an alt to BTC pair? For example, if you're going to long an alt BTC pair, does it just make more sense from a dollar perspective to short Bitcoin?
Unless you're stacking sats.
Unless you're stacking sats. Hate that term. But from a dollar perspective right now, we are below the baseline. We are getting a doji candle on the daily. Water tower explosion has not flipped this bullish yet. We don't have any signs of a recovery of a long-term drift up in dollar trend. We do have a fresh cross under on MINX, so we do have a 2 confirmation short signal on today's daily close. Commodity channel index is getting dangerously close to crossing up our dynamic zero line right there. So for a NEO USD recovery, and kind of what I would like to see to have a little bit more confidence in my position, is price above this baseline, MINX crossing back above. It's going to take water tower explosion, assuming that we just grind this area out, go sideways, and then move to the upside, which again, we're going to be able to see in Bitcoin as well. Not the volatility that we've seen in Bitcoin with NEO here very closely, but less of a run up obviously on BTC USD or on NEO USD for the daily. But if this is a local bottom for BTC USD, then it's going to be a local bottom for altcoin dollar pairs as well. And they're going to grind this area sideways. So potentially something that you guys could do if you guys want to have a kind of a charting task tonight is I would kind of chart out what you would want to see or what you expect to see a consolidation area look like for alt USD pairs and correlate it to BTC USD and see if you guys can make a case for the sideways grind of consolidation, i.e. the end of distribution, the reaccumulation phase, if this is going to be a local bottom for BTC. I don't think that it is, but that is an interesting kind of charting homework for you guys to do. All right, it's 1:05, guys, so we're going to take a brief break. We're actually going to go have a word from our friend Jay. Oh, there he is. Over here, and our friends at ByBit. When we come back, we're going to be talking about the European Central Bank. We're going to be talking about Bitcoin breaking records, and we're going to be talking about the flash crash on the USDS market. So if you guys were lucky enough to grab some Bitcoin at $681 earlier this morning, you might already be rich. But we'll have more on that in a second. See you guys in just a minute.
This is Jason when he first learned about Bitcoin margin trading on BitMEX.
Why? Why? Give it back! Give it back! Oh, give it back!
This is Jason 6 months later after signing up for ByBit with the Cracking Cryptocurrency referral link found in the description below. Don't make the same mistake as Jason. Sign up today at bybit.crackingcryptocurrency.com.
Hey guys, welcome back. We're going to get into today's crypto currently interview and insights session. Thank you guys so much. By the way, going to distribute the rewards over here on DLive for everybody. All right. So, this is not the right story. This is the right story. So we talked a lot about, oh, we want to get your crypto daily brief. I do not want to sign up for this. Thank you very much. How do I opt out of this? No thanks. All right, so today's story is coming to us from the European Union, and we've talked quite a bit about central bank digital currencies. We've talked a lot about central bank digital assets, whatever you guys want to call them, but at the end of the day, they are an attempt by central banks around the world to capitalize on the success of blockchain, to capitalize on, I wouldn't say necessarily the success of Bitcoin, because their motives and their values are quite different. But we have talked specifically on this show about the danger to privacy and security that these represent, and I guess the guise, or I guess potentially even the benefits that they could have to individuals. But one thing that we've been very, very consistent on is, regardless of what your opinion on them is, just like the adoption of Bitcoin, it is a train that will not stop running, as we know, well, as I know, and as I've attempted to explain. If you look at the stretch of humanity, it is humanity's history is a constant movement toward better technology, toward change, toward pushing toward the future. As the world has become digital, so has money. Again, already we can argue, and we've talked about this previously, Jack has pointed this out many times again, and you guys have heard it all over the place, that the grand majority of all dollars in circulation, of all fiat currency in circulation, is already digital. Governments have an active bias to eliminate physical money because, very much like Bitcoin, it is hard to trace, it is hard to seize. You actually have to send individuals. You have to send very nice men in uniforms with guns to seize physical currency as well as physical gold. This is what the government did. The government used coercion back in the early days, back in the early 1900s. They seized gold from individuals largely voluntarily. They just put out a sign that you need to come in and turn in your gold, and individuals did that in mass. Very soon in the future, you're going to see the exact same thing for dollars. The government is going to require you to turn in your physical dollars in return for digital dollars, and this is going to happen all over the world as all of the central banks push toward more control, more regulation, and having a digital currency on their own version of the blockchain, or whether it's a centralized system, which of course it will be, because it will not be to you, to the end user, very, very different from what we already currently have in the central bank model, in the central bank system. Their server, their system, their database, their ledger will not be publicly audible. You will not be easily able to transfer one currency into the other. It will not be censorship resistant. It will not be immutable. Andreas Antonopoulos has a great video on his channel where he goes over central bank digital currencies. I recommend you guys go check that out. But what we do know is that CBDCs, despite, even if they are marketed or sold to individuals as having some of the properties of blockchain or Bitcoin, will not in any way, shape, or form have the properties that actual blockchain cryptocurrencies have. They will not be decentralized. They will not be immutable. They will not be censorship resistant. In fact, because they're going to have to be able to have the control to stop payments and reverse, redo the chain, whatever their DLT is. It is going to have to be privatized and centralized by its very nature. But the European Central Bank is now actively pursuing, as we've talked about, a future digital currency of its own, citing concerns that the private sector just might not be up to the task. So projects like Libra or other projects that I'm sure we will see from the private sector attempting to launch their own coin, as we already see, for example, over in China. It's slightly different, of course, the state stepping right in and not allowing private companies to come up with their own digital currency, them stepping right to the forefront. Over here in America, we have projects like Libra, and I'm sure we will see others. Really depends on how things go. I know that a lot of companies are waiting in the wings right now, waiting to see how the regulators, how the government does end up officially treating Libra, or what the success of Libra has. But make no mistake, the threat to security and the threat to privacy from corporate coins and central bank digital currencies are very much the same. Just depends on who you would rather have in control of your private central ledger, whether you would rather have Facebook or the American government or the government of your choice. Please insert here. But the ECB has said that the private sector is most likely not up to the task of creating a solution for cross-border payments, as well as cash, as well as having a currency that is going to be utilized very similar to cash. And again, noting the decline in the use of cash. However, I definitely think that they have an incentive to say that the use of cash is on the decline, which it probably is, because they don't want cash to be utilized. According to a paper published this week, the ECB plans to accelerate the development of its own central bank digital currency if cash usage drops across Europe. How much do you guys want to bet that the ECB definitely will do their best to diminish cash usage across Europe, because this is what they want. They want an ECB. The continent currently has a European Central Bank-backed project for real-time payments known as TIPS, but it so far has been met with quite a bit of caution by commercial banks for adoption. Cash itself remains a popular means of payment in Europe, but the document notes that signs of a future decline in cash usage could be a catalyst in accelerating central bank efforts in the area of central bank digital currencies. Again, you guys kind of have to look at the narrative that's being pushed out and look at where the incentives are. Cui bono, as we always say, who benefits? The central bank benefits by pushing the narrative that cash usage is on the decline, and that's why we need to adopt a digital currency. Not because we want to, but because we need to. But the goal, as the paper outlines, is to create a payment system that is fast, secure, and reliable, while also bolstering the trust in the euro itself. Largely depends on the decisions of your government there, guys, not your currency. But following the announcements of Facebook's Libra, the European Central Bank is now focusing more on digital currencies than they ever have before, suggesting that they view the rise of this technology from the private sector as a potential threat, as they should, because it is the kind of in a very significant way, the private sector stepping into the heretofore private domain of governments and central banks around the world. But I repeat myself. In this latest document from the European Central Bank, which is set to be discussed by the finance ministers at an upcoming meeting, it reads, quote, "If industry efforts fall short of developing an innovative and efficient pan-European payment solution, the social need for a central digital currency could potentially be met by issuing a central bank digital currency." Again, cui bono, who benefits here? The document describes the effects of an ECB digital currency as having far-reaching implications for the wider financial system. Not only could it affect how monetary policy is implemented by European nations and the ECB itself, but it could also render commercial banks redundant, as people would be able to open accounts directly with the European Central Bank. And I've talked about this before. This is really kind of an interesting crossroads of private interests that we're coming up to, where commercial banks naturally have their own incentives, their own interests. If you guys, for those of you who are unaware, for those of you who have not educated yourselves about the 2008 financial crisis and crash, for example, that was all largely the work of commercial banks. It is the commercial banks that are betting. It is the investment banks that are betting and taking large bets and over-leveraging. It is the commercial banks that are doing all of the tomfoolery. So it's really kind of an interesting guise to see. And so let's talk about that for a second, because you have commercial banks, causing a lot of panic and chaos in the market. And the narrative from the central bank here seems to be that, well, we could just wipe out commercial banks because people will just be able to open up account directly with the European Central Bank. And as much shenanigans as commercial banks pull, you have to understand that as negative as they are, the way that our society currently works, they are still a filter between the central bank and the end retail user, the adopter and the user of the currency that is allowed or that is publicly accepted in your nation state. They're still a filter to totalitarianism and control. So there's still a cog in the wheel of allowing the end user a little bit of choice. You have a choice of which commercial bank you choose to go to. You have a choice in which credit card you open up to. You have a choice in what interest rate you accept. Now, although we can argue that the way that a lot of these systems have been crafted, you are not left with a large choice. But it is a dramatic difference to have a choice between what commercial bank to utilize, what commercial bank to take a loan from, and only being able to go through one large centralized bank. It is the centralization of power that is the biggest threat, in my opinion, to human dignity, to human liberty. And the more we invest a central bank with the authority and with the power and with the utility that we currently get from commercial banks, I think that is a significant threat to liberty and people's freedom. Because it reduces options. It reduces options. When you strip options away from people, you are inherently reducing their liberty. Now, while various Western nations still seem to be debating what direction to take with the introduction of this new technology, United States being fairly ambivalent, of course, as we know in cryptocurrencies, China is readying to launch its own CBDC full stop very, very soon after years of quiet development. So China heard about Bitcoin and they were like, yeah, make it for us. And they had it ready years later. Now, while many citizens may still prefer to use cash for obvious reasons, a recent statement by a representative of the People's Bank of China reassured the people that the Chinese CBDC will still provide users with controlled anonymity. No doubt central banks around the world would likely wish to implement some similar form of anonymity-controlled digital currency. So any idea that there will be anonymity linked to a CBDC may be true for retailers or companies or commercial banks seeing your purchases. But remember that these are all going to be private, central digital ledgers that will not be anonymous to whoever controls or whoever manages that private ledger. In this case, the central bank. All right. Now, with the amazing volatility that we've seen in Bitcoin lately, we've been setting some new records. And yesterday turned out to be a record-breaking day for Bitcoin as the network, the Bitcoin network, the actual blockchain, recorded the biggest hourly USD transaction volume in all of Bitcoin's history. This metric was pointed out via a tweet by, I can't even attempt to pronounce that word right there. I'm not even going to try. Let's scroll down to it. Raphael Schultz, that's not too bad. Raphael Schultz Craft. Thank you so much. At NeoCortex on the Twitter there. He is the co-founder of the on-chain market platform Glassnode. And according to him, a stunning 8.9 billion, it's Billy with a B, worth of Bitcoin was moved around all in the span of 1 hour, making it the highest hourly USD transaction volume in Bitcoin's history. Now, while this type of transaction action could suggest the movements of do whales swim in pods or pools? A pod of whales, or a sudden surge in institutional adoption. Instead, many suspect that it is just the work of a crypto exchange shuffling Bitcoin around in their cold wallets. According to another analysis by Glassnode, Seattle-based Bittrex was responsible for moving about 1.8 million, that was billion is a big word, 1.8 million Bitcoin, totaling around 8.7 billion. The funds removed over 21 transactions worth about 56,000 Bitcoin at each time. So not sending the whole 1.7 million, the 1.18 million Bitcoin chunk in one go, sending them in smaller transactions. This highlights a few things for me, obviously. The majority of Bitcoin is centralized on exchanges. So you guys need to be practicing proof of keys. And remember, not your keys, not your coins. This is why I prefer exchanges that allow you access to margins so you can significantly reduce your counterparty risk. And it also lets us know that we've invested exchanges with the same kind of authority that we're sitting here kind of concerned about and talking about with central banks and CBDCs. which is, we have really given the power to exchanges to run things. And it's important, again, that people participate in things like proof of keys and exercise their power, because the way that Bitcoin, the way that the blockchain was designed in the first place, everybody wants to talk about how miners have control of Bitcoin. Everything balances in a very nice way, with the end user being able to vote, and they can vote by selling their Bitcoin. This affects the miner's profitability. When individuals support the price of Bitcoin, when people buy Bitcoin, it obviously raises the profits of miners, at least the more efficient ones. Hashtag just never deposit. Now, this transaction was, of course, recorded on Twitter's whale alerts, but after a while, whale alerts had to be temporarily suspended to avoid spamming users' feeds with all of the alerts. Now, it might be interesting to note that each of the 21 transactions incurred a small fee of about 0.00008 BTC per transaction. That's about 60 cents worth 60 cents per transaction, meaning that whoever moved these funds around, and according to Glassnode, it was Bittrex, that means that the exchange only spent a little over $12 to transfer $9 billion worth of value. This is amazing. You don't see, it's stuff like this really blows my mind. Now, we don't know that it was Bittrex, but whatever exchange was involved in these transfers has yet to make an official statement concerning the activity. But Twitter chatter does seem to suggest that Bittrex was indeed moving funds to conduct an upgrade on their cold storage solution. Months ago in July, Binance did something similar, moving about $1 billion worth of value. Now, typically, transactions of this size, which are actively tracked on the public blockchain, can result in some significant variations in price action in the Bitcoin marketplace, which obviously we are seeing the market respond to as we speak. Now, while Bitcoin did make a big move yesterday, briefly climbing above 7,500, many are suggesting that the movement was not triggered by the Bittrex transactions. That is up for speculation, to be quite honest with you guys. Now, yesterday, Bittrex did announce that on Thursday, today, they would be offline to perform scheduled maintenance in an official blog post. Bittrex says that the downtime will begin at 1900 UTC and would probably not be done until 20 UTC. During this period, users will not have access to the exchange APIs and will not be able to log in, as trading will be suspended. The exchange notes that all assets, however, will, of course, remain secure during the maintenance period. Now, I did take a look at the crypto inflows and outflows indicator when this news broke across my desk yesterday, and we did not see a significant change in crypto inflows and outflows. Obviously, with a significant amount of Bitcoin being moved across the network like that, what you want to look for is there a significant inflow to exchanges? If cryptocurrency is moving from cold storage to the exchanges, I don't know about you guys, but I've never sent Bitcoin, I've never sent cryptocurrency, I've never sent Bitcoin to an exchange to buy it. I've only ever sent Bitcoin to an exchange to sell it. So when you see a massive transaction on the blockchain, that can give you a hint that price action is about to pick up. Doesn't give you directional bias. Your technical analysis has to give you that. But what you can do is you can look at crypto inflows and outflows. And if you're seeing a mass outflow of transactions, that's typically a bullish sign, because that means that people are moving Bitcoin off the exchanges into cold storage, meaning they are intending to hold them. So there is less selling pressure coming onto the exchanges. But however, if you see a large transaction, if you see a large whale alert transaction, and then you see a significant crypto inflow to exchanges, i.e. Bitcoin is entering into the exchanges, that is often a good sell signal. It doesn't mean that price won't spike up, because often the stop loss hunt needs to happen before price actually does move down, but it does give you time to develop a plan to position yourself for the upcoming trade and the upcoming price swing. You cheering for me there? You cheering?
She's going up, baby.
Cheering for my long there? Doing good. Doing good.
Just gonna break that right now.
All right, and our final story of the day, and potentially one of the funniest. Bitcoin Flash Crash to $700 caused by an illiquid stablecoin. So if there's anybody in the group that happened to have their stank bids down around the $681 area on the Binance pair BTC USDS, well, congratulations to you guys. You guys are probably already feeling quite wealthy today. You guys finally got that opportunity to buy back in 2016, just like you said you wanted to, but you ignored it and didn't buy until 2017. But yesterday, an 8 Bitcoin sell order on Binance, worth about only $60,000 in dollar value, tanked the price of Bitcoin trading against the stable USD pair, resulting in a momentary wick that chewed through the entire order book all the way down below $1,000, I believe, and then it ended up at $681, leaving many to ask, was this a fat-fingered mistake, or was this a bad actor attempting to take advantage of the stable USD's low liquidity on Binance? Now, bad actor or good actor, all I can say is that is something you guys are going to see. And one reason why I'm very hesitant to go into new exchanges, new markets. I'm a very conservative trader. I like trading the way that I've traded for a long time because it allows me to be a consistently profitable trader. I like keeping my head around me when I trade, when I'm looking for opportunities. And I don't like to go searching for kind of wackadoodle theories on which to base a trade. I try to keep it very, very simple because simple works. Consistent works. Consistent returns results. When you start drawing all these lines on your chart and you get very complicated and convoluted and looking for any and all opportunities, and then especially when you start looking at news, you often tend to get analysis paralysis or make the wrong decision anyway. Now, but that is just a danger when you're looking at these low liquidity markets that seem like they're going to return dramatic results. Just realize that you're stepping into the penny stock trading world with all of the dangers that represents. Now, with a stable USD or USDS, for those who don't know, is a USD fiat peg stablecoin, and the flash crash only affected the pair on that exchange, although it could have had residual effects from bots monitoring for arbitrage or things like that. Now, with a 24-hour trading volume of just over $130,000, this large sell order for this order book did represent more than half of the trading pair's daily volume with one market sell order, allowing it to sell through the entire order book and crash Bitcoin on that pair to a low of $681.81 before immediately recovering. So yes, some lucky cat was able to buy 8 Bitcoins worth for $681.81. Putting the necessity out there for stank bids as a reality, guys. Kraken's a great exchange to have some stank bids on. Now, Stable USD is a stable coin. It was launched about a year ago. Its market cap has only seen cuts since its launch, suggesting that fewer and fewer people are actually utilizing it. And this is the type of tomfoolery that you can see when an asset just drops and drops and drops and drops and drops in liquidity. And Stable USD is only ranked 542 by market cap on CoinMarketCap.com, which in contrast to things like leading stablecoin US dollar Tether, in contrast, stable coins like US dollar Tether have seen their market caps climb dramatically over 2019. And to be honest, this wasn't the first time that stable USD was involved in a dramatic move either. Back in April, when Bitcoin was still trading at $5,000, USDS briefly jumped to $11,000. This also took place on Binance. Now, this may lead many to ask, why would anyone sell a not insignificant amount of Bitcoin at below market rate? So obviously one possible explanation is that someone merely made a mistake and placed a limit sell order for far below market rate. In this case, that means that lucky buyers on the other side of the order book ended up with an early Christmas miracle and managed to fill their Bitcoin buy orders for under $700. Merry Christmas to those lucky buyers out there. Now, another explanation is, of course, that traders might be doing this to manipulate the market by simultaneously crashing the market and shorting it, betting against its future price, in other words. Margin or leverage trading can obviously be utilized to increase the effect of this manipulation, but it's less likely in this case as there is not a futures market offering leverage trading for this particular pair, so that kind of rules that out. Now, alternatively, coins are sometimes sold below market value in order to transfer money from one account to another. For example, if a hacker can take control of an account but is unable to withdraw directly from the compromised user, strategically dumping the funds below market value on the right pair can be one tactic to siphon funds. I remember this specifically happened, I believe it was with Syscoin. I could be wrong about that. But on Binance, many users were hacked. They were not able to withdraw, but what they ended up doing is they forced all the traders who they were able to target and get their login details. They forced them to dump all of their holdings and market by Syscoin almost simultaneously at once, which dramatically pumped the price of that altcoin up to ridiculous levels. And that is exactly where the seller who had already pre-pumped the market and bought a massive quantity of Sys had their limit sell orders resting. So, And then since that trader now had all of those funds in his account, because he pumped the price, I believe it was 1,000x in about the course of about 5 minutes, then he was able to draw that BTC. Now, Binance, to the best of my knowledge, was able to stop him from withdrawing the vast majority of that Bitcoin, but they weren't able to stop him from withdrawing some of it. Now, either way, what we do know is that BTC USDS is the lowest volume stablecoin trading pair on Binance. So unless this current situation changes, it will stay particularly vulnerable to manipulation. And if the stablecoin's usage continues to drop, it may just disappear altogether. So I want you guys to be aware of the risks and the dangers of trading in low liquidity markets, and how to kind of set yourselves up for success. Of course, having stank bids is not a terrible idea and strategy, because remember, we're trading in a very unique market on very unique exchanges. Again, many of the tried and true fashion trading strategies are going to treat us very, very well, but you always have to adapt to the market that you're trading, to the asset that you're trading, and take advantage of edges in the market until those edges don't exist anymore, in which case you refresh your strategy. So thank you guys. If you guys have any comments on today's story, please leave them in the comment section down below. Let me know if you have any questions. Let me know if you learned anything. Let me know if I got any facts correct, and I'll be happy to blame it on somebody else in tomorrow's show. Thank you guys so much. Back to the price of Bitcoin. All right, we talked about this right at the beginning of the show. We had, this is the 60-minute chart, sorry, over here on the Minx and time transformation LTF scalping strategy. We did get a 15-minute buy signal at or around, let's see here, about 73.60. Price currently up about $30 from there. Let's see, what was actually the fill on this trade?
73.47, right?
73.47. Okay, sorry. 73.47 was actually the entry. So actually a little bit better. And let's see here. We are getting oversold signals here. We have not yet gotten a sell signal yet. On the hourly, breaking back above the baseline, we're actually going to be getting...
Hourly signal at close in 18?
No, not yet. Not from Minx. Almost an hourly signal. Potentially Jason's. I think Jason's system is a little bit more sensitive.
I think it is, because I think, yep.
Well,
Yep.
it's got to be there now. Hold on. It's got to load. Oh, yeah. She's there now.
Hourly buy signal on Jason's system.
But I would still be waiting on a baseline pullback, possibly. But this could just run. Too late. We'll see. Still got... Wait till your candle closes, people.
Always wait for the candle close.
So it's going to be a trade there. Don't jump into it.
All right, so we're going to take 15, 20 minutes, guys, to do questions and answers. So if you guys have any questions, if you guys have questions about your trading, questions about your risk management, questions about what we do, we'd be happy to answer them.
I don't want to be this close. For the people.
For the people. All right.
She's pushing. Don't ask personal questions. Bye, 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 bye.
You guys don't do Forex? Yeah, we do Forex. It's just not the main focus of the channel. Crypto Caveman says, I'm taking my boat to Michigan and driving over to see you too.
I have to get in a car, bud.
You're gonna need a boat, a car, and a horse to get to my house.
He ain't lying. It's in the middle of nowhere.
By the way, Kryptonian and Forza World TV, congratulations, guys. Big wins over there on DLive. Thank you so much for the support. Never trust a bank with gold, Goblin Moblin says.
Only trust your backyard.
not kidding. At the very least, you're gonna need a 4x4. That's what Ben said.
Ben's been here. He knows.
I almost got stuck in one on the way here, Ben.
ACDC asks, thanks for the info. How do we find the BTC inflow and outflow, which indicator? I highly recommend, so go check out Bitcoin Trading Challenge. He's got a really, really good video on crypto inflow and outflow, and a link to the specific indicator that he uses in that video as well. I think that's going to be quicker to get you up to speed on the indicator than what I can do. I think he actually might explain it just a little bit better than me. That's just me being humble, but he's done his homework. Wally says, with Binance and Syscoin, the hackers had used API keys via a phishing attempt, not Binance's fault, and then the coins got bought en masse. My bot took advantage of a high sell pressure that day. Awesome, man. Put in limit orders for 0.001 for XRP.
It's too high.
It's too high. Ricky Thompson, so for my active trading account, I use cross margin, and I just use a position size that's calculated by Quadriga ATR. Generally, when I'm using, if it's coming from the LTF system, then it's going to be sometimes automatic, depends on the signal, but it's going to be calculated generally using the hourly risk management system.
B-Flow, I just get out of bed this way.
Says, do you blow dry your hair or just hang your head out the window when you drive to get that smooth flow?
Years of experience.
Who do I think Bittrex is shipping a new feature for an exchange partner to? I'm not sure I understand. Cass Bars, thank you so much for the sub on you, or for the subscription on YouTube, my friend. The alternative as well, and this is generally what I recommend to individuals who do have efficient systems, either on the hourly or on the lower time frames, or anybody that's going to be doing intraday trading, whether they're only doing intraday trading or whether they're doing that in conjunction with, in my opinion, what you should be doing as your core trading, which is daily time frame trading and swing trading. Also utilizing whether you guys want to be doing Renko or whether you guys are, again, going to be doing the weekly, the monthly, or the daily to determine your positional trades. And again, this is so critical to understand when to be hedged on Bitcoin for a long period of time and when to just be spot long on Bitcoin for the long time. I know for a fact from mentoring so many individuals this year that so many individuals made a base level of profitability. Did I say that too many times? A base level of profitability just by knowing, for example, from April to June to be spot long on BTC, to avoid to avoid chop, and then to be hedged short when we close below the baseline. And again, if you're doing this on the daily, it's going to be a more active and infrequent hedge that does result in drawdown at times. But overall, the gains that come from the trends that Bitcoin puts in gives that back in much more. It's one of the strongest trending assets that we've ever experienced. It's one of the greatest tradable assets too, as well. I mean, just look at the volatility over the last couple of days.
There has never been a better time in history to transcend wealth gaps at a very low cost.
Well said.
If you smart.
Well said.
Not well said. If you smart. you get a good pullback there, I might think about taking a position on that hourly. We got 10 minutes left.
Down to ye old 21 ma.
No, I wouldn't go that far.
The 21 ma.
I'd probably go 375.
Ashley Neal says, I am struggling to be consistent. What can I do to improve? Broad question, but here we go. Write down your strategy on paper. Backtest that strategy on paper and see what you need to improve. Do you have excessive periods of drawdown? Can you move your stop loss up? Can you widen your stop loss? Are you trading off emotion? Are you trading? If you're not trading with a strategy, that's step one. You need to have a fleshed out strategy of when you enter, when you exit, and only take those trades. Because any trading strategy, you have to understand that when you approach the market, it's a game of statistics, right? There's not a single human person alive who can tell you, honestly, price is absolutely going to go this high on this day and this low on this day. For a trader in the market, you have to be able to be comfortable with playing the odds. You have to be comfortable with not knowing. You have to be comfortable with being wrong, right? Because, and I think Crypto Daily said this very, very well, right? The Crypto Daily said this very well. He said it a little bit more bluntly. He said your technical analysis sucks. For most individuals, that is true. But the reality is that only newer traders believe that technical analysis is predictive, that it is capable of always being right, that if you draw your trend line right, that if you just use the right setting on an indicator, that if you just draw that Fibonacci retracement just right, you'll never be able to be wrong. Like, you know, anybody that says like, but my indicator says this, therefore the market must go down or must go up, only newer traders think or say those things. The reality is that seasoned traders and traders who have learned to develop an edge and trade for profit have figured out that the trading game is a game of edges. You need to develop a system that is going to give you more wins than losses, or an equal amount of wins and losses, and you have to use the most important thing, risk management, to consistently turn in the profits. You have to position size correctly on each trade. You have to manage your risk on each trade with taking profit and with your stop loss and exiting early. That's kind of a unique portion. That's something that I don't see other people do. That's a significant part of what we do with the Pathways to Profit strategy.
One thing that I would add to that is you need to start holding yourself accountable, because a lot of people try to take trades and just do what they hear online, stuff like that. If you're not taking a trade because you know why, then you shouldn't be in the trade at all. You need to have a system that tells you why you're entering. If you don't know why you're entering in the first place, just because you hope it's going up, you're going to struggle to be even a profitable or a break-even trader. You have to know why you're actually entering into that position. And that's when all your setups come in, your indicators, everything that we do here at PTP or in Pathways to Profit. It's all about building your own system. It's not about one system that Justin's built that you just come in and copy. You come in, learn what you're doing, because everyone trades different. It's just how it works. Everyone does trade different. Some people are swing traders, some are daily, some are 15 minutes, some are 1 minute, for God's sakes. But they're all doing it based off of things that they have tested. If you have tested nothing and you're just wanting to be a profitable trader, you need to start at why you're taking trades in the first place.
Backtest, backtest, backtest. It's not sexy, but that's how it works. Tyler Z, by the way, if you were the Tyler Z, sirs, you still have the coolest last name that I've ever read. He asks, what are some other good indicators that I recommend testing as a confirmer indicator using Fisher as a centered oscillator, not including Wadatar? You're probably going to want something that is a line cross indicator. So things that come to my mind that I think are good indicators to test out. You can also use a chart overlay. But I would recommend Commodity Channel Index is good. If you're using Fisher Transform as a centered oscillator, Minx as a line cross, I think is fantastic and pairs very, very well. Let's see here. Arun is very, Arun up, down. Actually, it's just Arun on TradingView is very good. Let me think here. Stochastic RSI is not bad if you use it as a line cross. Those are some fairly quickly accessible indicators right there. I always like to pair a line cross with a centered oscillator or vice versa. Or if you do a chart overlay, you can do something like Lucid SAR is pretty good. A version of ATR bands or BB bands is not too bad, but not optimum, but good places to start. I would recommend that you are going to have access to Minx. So that's probably where I recommend you start. Start with Minx. And then from there, you can develop a baseline of profitability, a baseline of success of either percent profitability, win-loss ratio, or if you get far enough into the when you do get far enough into the back testing, whether you're doing it algorithmically or manually on paper, you can actually determine your actual P&L and drawdown. You're going to have a baseline of profitability, and then as you test new indicators, kind of go from there. If you get a hold of me, send me a message on Discord, and I will send you a list of indicators. And also, since you're a premium member, I would recommend checking out the public indicator database that we have, because there's a lot of great indicators listed there, and the members have already done the testing. It's already there. You can already see all the stats and percentages, win-loss ratio, percent profitability, whether it was tested manually or algorithmically. You can see all that information on the public database. Ricky Thompson says it is probabilities to put the odds in your favor / technical analysis, but you still don't know the outcome when you click the mouse. Exactly. That's why
it's called an edge.
You have to be comfortable with not knowing. You have to be comfortable with being wrong.
Losses are built into any good strategy.
Companies that make batteries for cars or parts for car batteries, go.
Dyson.
Everstart? Is it Everstart? Dyson?
Dyson's making their own
It's Everready, isn't it?
Yeah, Everready makes
Everready.
But Dyson's making cars now, so.
That's all I got. I don't even know what battery's in my car right now. Probably should. I put it in there. Tesla. Great answer.
Duralast?
Duralast.
Built to last. What a random ass question.
I like it. I like it. Robert asked, can alumni premium members get access to new indicators a la carte? So currently, and this is a question we've been asked a lot and something that might change in the future, again, as we kind of move everything online and work with automation and work with APIs and things like that, which is what we're currently developing and testing right now. Potentially in the future, we might license indicators individually. There are also a few different interfaces, a few different websites that we're working on developing a collaboration with. Right now, there's nothing official. Right now, that's not set in stone. Currently, the way that we have things set up, that's generally for our own security and privacy, as well as to protect our work as well. And just to make things easier, not only for us, but for the members as well, is that you do have to be a member to have access to the proprietary indicators. In the future, we might license them separately, and I'll make sure to let you guys know if that changes.
Rico comes in here and just ruins my dreams.
Dyson is no longer making the electric vehicle.
Damn.
You're fired.
Talk about a street sweeper.
Most lead-acid car batteries are actually made by Johnson Controls, Duralast, and Everready. Well, yeah, sure, when you got access to Google, man. Here on live stream in the hot seat.
Yeah, right?
Tesla does not make their own batteries yet. Heresy.
Outsource.
All right, guys. Last opportunity for some questions before we call it a day.
Before the day begins.
It's true. The day's just starting for us. Well, I've been up since 4:30. Full disclosure.
I ain't got kids.
Dad life. Well, Ben, that's
Glad that we're staying on topic here.
Glad that we're no. I was gonna say, Ben, that's why I hired you, man.
The Bitcoin weather report today is just do whatever you want. Buy it and sell it for profit.
We could let me see what we got. You know, one thing that I haven't done is the bloopers.
Oh, I want to give them some bloopers.
I don't know if I have it. I don't know if I don't think I haven't rendered it yet. There's we're ranging. Dude, it's going to 0. Bullish baby, Doji, handicap parking, get the shovels. They're idiots. Shitty weatherman. What are you feeling like today?
Have they seen the shitty weatherman?
Yeah,
Yeah. I don't know.
I would go with this one.
Get rid of it. Enjoy.
Yeah, we can do that one. We're gonna be we're gonna have some extra or new Bitcoin weather reports for you guys. We're gonna do some filming today, do some trading today, do some chatting in the members lounge with the members. But just as kind of a taste, I'm gonna do some extra rendering today too in the production room. And by the way, the Silvio Macaulay video I should be able to publish tomorrow. I'll give you guys an update on that tomorrow as well. But you guys can check out this fan favorite, the Bitcoin weather report. Here we go.
Dump it. Dump it all. Just get rid of it. It's going to 0. Back to you. Back to you. I brought a full-blown bee suit.
Did you?
Because I one of them, like a day where it's just sideways as fuck. I'm just like, bees! Oh, fuck is bees!
All right, guys. Thank you guys so much for coming to another episode of Breaking Bitcoin. Of course, I'm your host, Justin Wise. This has been Junior Analyst MidwestAttempts / Jason. Thank you guys so much for your comments. You guys have been absolutely fantastic. Great questions today. Hopefully you guys enjoy the analysis. Make sure to leave a comment down below if you have any questions. Let us know if you learned anything. And if you do that, you will also be entered to win for a random YouTube comment giveaway tomorrow for 8,000 XS PC, which we do every single day on this channel. You can also put anything down there for any questions, comments, concerns, sarcastic remarks, or death threats. If you guys appreciate and support what we're doing, make sure to subscribe to the channel over there on YouTube. If you're watching on Twitch or DLive, make sure to give us a follow and hit the like button if you haven't already. We highly appreciate that, guys.
Bells.
If you guys would like to join us in the group, make sure to check out premium.krakencryptocurrency.com. And whatever you do, hop in the Discord at discord.krakencryptocurrency.com to keep up to date on what we're doing in the community and to find yourself a community of traders, which is very, very important, as we said. Sometimes when you're a solo trader, it can get very, very lonely.
Gotta get a family, baby.
Gotta get a family. Other than that, by the way, reminder to the premium members who have not yet logged into the website for the new system. You guys need to do that by December 8th so that you do not experience any interruptions in your service with access to the Discord, with access to indicators, or with access to the online database, the educational section in the CC Academy. So make sure that you guys do go log in to the website with your Discord login. It's through Discord, it's through their SSL certificate, so you guys are good with that. But you just need to do that so that your user data gets imported into the new database and so that we can manage everything with the bots. So thank you guys for your patience and your cooperation in doing that. And as always, if you guys have any suggestions, please let me know, let a member of the staff know, and we'll get to it as soon as we can, guys. You guys have a great day. As always, trade safely, and I will see you guys tomorrow, same time, same channel, same network, noon Central Standard Time to 2 p.m. Central Standard Time. You guys have a great day. Thank you.
Let's get it in the ByBit, bro, baby.
Thank you.